Hello,
Hi, Leon.
how are you?
Good, good, good. What about you?
I'm good. It is very cold today, so I need to
Hmm.
get my blanket in a moment. I think I'm actually gonna get it now before the meeting starts.
Where are you based?
In Amsterdam.
Okay,
Yeah, it
all right,
was a
got it.
beautiful day with the sun shining, but it's very cold still. Where are you based?
I'm living near Paris, but I'm
Okay.
currently more in the south, but same situation as you. Yeah, pretty cold.
I would have thought, I hope that in the south of France it's warm.
Yeah, but I'm in the French Alps, so
Oh, I
close
see.
closer to the mountains, so more in the middle of the snow than something else at the moment, which is good.
Yeah, yeah, I see. Okay. Um, I do hope there's more people coming. Because you wanted
Um,
to present today, right?
yeah, put a project update within the
Mm-hmm.
agenda. Um, And I don't know if there is any other topic on the dock at the moment. Doesn't seem to. I don't know if Robert is coming.
So it's just an update. It's not a project presentation.
Uh, I don't know the diff, honestly, from your point of view, but for me, it's an update regarding what Microx is. Robert asked me, let's say, to present the project first of all, because we are a sandbox project for a year and a half, maybe
Yeah.
more. But maybe quite a lot of folks don't know what Microx is. So can start with a presentation regarding Microx and also update on some metrics and what we have done since we've been accepted as a sandbox project, and especially based on the fact that we are working on our level up and our Cubase submission.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit chaotic right now with all the reorganization stuff, but I think it probably doesn't hurt to
Yeah.
just represent, also for you to get some feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's clearly the idea, and that's a discussion that I have had with TLC members, that we keep going and move forward. And I mean, because the new organization will be ready post KubeCon. So I think the idea is to move forward as by using, let's say, the same process as before, just in order to not
Mm-hmm.
generate too much backlog for all of us.
Okay. Okay. Then yeah, let's just see. Let's give it maybe like a minute or two and see if there's more people showing up. Hi.
Do
Amina,
you
is
have
that
any?
pronouncing that right?
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hi.
I mean,
Uh, sorry, I cut you off there.
Yeah, no worries. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Did you have another question, Yasin?
just I don't know if there is any other topic that you want to start with, or I mean, it's the floor is mine. Let's say for Microx update and presentation, and
Yeah, no worries. I was just here to attend in, like, to hear out the updates on the tag. So yeah, no worries.
Were you interested about the specific reorganization updates or general tag, just general updates from the tag?
Yeah, I was aware of the new proposal of the reorganization from the last meeting, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly active on the app delivery tag on the infrastructure lifecycle working. Because
Okay.
we were staying on preparing the finalizing the outline of the new white paper. So I'm tracking progress on this.
Okay. I see. Yeah, the only update I think I can give right now is I'm not up to date on all the. I'm just gonna put it in the agenda real quick. So, yeah, usually we would have the people from the working groups give updates. I mean, do you feel comfortable giving an update on what you're doing in the infrastructure lifecycle working group?
Yeah, so mostly we just finalized the draft outline. So we have I don't know if you have the link. I can find it out very
It would be
quickly.
very helpful if you could do
Yeah.
that.
I think it's this one. Yeah, there we go. Let me just find it. Yeah, it's this one. I put it here on the chat. Yeah, but basically what we come up is the final outline for this white paper. So now the current state of it is how do we collect contribution from the interested people, because we have several sections from the definition of the infrastructure, like from a very cloud native perspective, from introducing lifecycle stages, infrastructure as code, state management, deployment approach, observability, and future trends. So for the past few weeks, we spent time like to redefine and to reshaping with this outline, because we don't want to focus on specific tools, but we rather define this from a general perspective on the best practice from everyone's experiences. So yeah, we come up with a lot of discussions. We've finalized finally this draft outline. Now we are just thinking of a very effective way to start collecting contributions from contributors and the folks from the tag.
Yeah. Do you have a way to collect contributors? Or are you mainly just working with the people in the working group themselves?
Yeah, I just started. I just joined like 1 month ago. 1 month ago, like 6 or 7 weeks ago. And yeah, we were talking basically about GitHub or Google Doc, but the final decision we had is to keep this, for instance, now for in the Google Doc, just to collect rough content. So we started having some content on the interested part of this white paper, and then we will try to shape out this to get a more effective way. So we will have the meeting tomorrow just to keep on update on this one, and to see yeah, if people got some new content or some new contributions.
Okay. I'm mainly asking just to know if you need help with that. Getting people to join you with the white paper,
Yeah,
or are you good for
I think
now?
I think for now, yeah, yeah, as we will have to think about how to collect this in an effective way, because some members have other engagements, some others are are a bit distracted with this new organization. So yeah, let's see what the outcome will become from tomorrow's meeting.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, so what I know is that about the app development working group is that they are also discussing their white paper, and but they're still in the phase of discussing what exactly their white paper should be about, or maybe they will write multiple white papers, so they're not that far yet with outlining stuff, but they're just is still in discussion of what the output will be. Sorry, it's just a bit hard to like take notes and also share. Just I just need some time to do both. Still in discussion. Great. Just like also, this is probably gonna have to repost this as well. We have a booth for KubeCon. This time we'll have it full time. And we want to again have lightning talks at the booth. So like 10 minutes. And we just created a Google form for people to sign up. So if you're interested to present pretty much anything that is related to app delivery, feel free to send in your proposals through the form. We don't have any limits on how many proposals you can send in, but I mean, depending on how many proposals we get, we will try and keep the speakers pretty diverse. Also share with your friends and family. We also share it as the working groups already, but I mean, it won't hurt. I think it's nice you get a chance to speak at KubeCon, but it's like a little bit less, the hurdle is not as high, I think, as speaking at KubeCon. Getting through the KubeCon selection process, that's always a bit of a, I wouldn't say hassle, but it's quite hard. So I'm gonna put the link here. And it's also persisted in the meeting notes here. And are there any other questions from you about the tag or KubeCon or the tag at KubeCon? Because if not, then I think we can, yeah, I can hand over to Yassine to do the update on Microx. Yeah, great. Do you need like any rights to share a screen or something, or can you just do that?
Let me see if I can do it. I think it should be okay.
Okay, great.
Just tell
Excellent.
me if you can see my presentation now.
Yes.
Yes, so good.
Okay, cool. All right. So thanks for this time. I mean, that's a very nice opportunity to provide an update regarding Microx. And I put a few slides here because based on some conversation with tag members, I mean, we know the tag for more than 2 years and people have changed and so on. So we're going to start with a very brief introduction of what Microx is, the way we are doing, let's say, that's just, I mean, what we are providing through the product. And it's going to be more focused at the end on some metrics and information regarding where we are within the CNCF as an open source project, and in order, let's say, to move forward on our incubate mission that we are working on, and we are preparing everything at the moment. So, I mean, it's a small committee, which is great. So feel free to interrupt me. Clearly not in love of my slide. It's just a support. So just ask any question you may have. First of all, so just regarding Microx, what it is, it's clearly a tool mainly dedicated to developer and fully focused on API mocking and testing. By mocking, we mean simulation. If you like to have much more details, just go on our website. We've done a huge amount of improvement regarding the documentation itself. And here on the overview, you can see what Microx is, the persona we are talking about, the pains we address, and let's say why these folks are using Microx and for which purpose. So I'm not going to go in deep details, but you have much more information on the website regarding what it is, the main concept, some blog posts on alternatives, and a lot of information on how to set it up in an efficient way. Now, back to the slide itself. I mean, what we tackle, the challenges we tackle within Microx, I mean, we try to, let's say, to focus on these 3 points, which are being able to shorten the feedback loop. speed up development. By development, of course, it's everything related to API, microservices, cloud native application. And last but not least, be sure that your implementation, they, let's say, conform to the expectation, and we are a tool to help the maintenance and take care about the conformity of your application as well. The way we do it, when I'm saying we are doing mocking, I try to make it very high level and simple here. But again, just feel free to ask any question if you don't have answers on the next slides. With Microx, in fact, we just ingest, existing artifact. For example, if you are developing REST HTTP APIs using Open API specification, you just import it within Microx, and we generate mock in second without any code, which means we infer all the example within the specification, and we provide endpoint, which means we act as a mock server to provide real endpoint, dynamic endpoint that consumers and developers can start playing with and coding with. And the first point here is, especially when you're doing microservices in a very decoupled, services, you can, with this approach, mock all your dependencies and don't wait for the others to provide the real implementation before start coding it. So that's a huge win regarding what we name shorten the feedback loop, because when you are starting from scratch, you can iterate based on the spec before starting coding your read API provider code. And when you are starting it, you can parallelize all the development, and especially if you are doing microservices and cloud native application, which are tightly decoupled. And the second point, the other face of the coin is testing, which means we import again and reuse base artifact, the same example, except that we just play the request, not taking care about the responses, and we send that to your real implementation in order to test any version, and we can ensure through this process that you have not introduced any breaking changes, and you are still conformant to your promise, which is the specification, the contract itself. And of course, you can integrate Microx pipeline to do that in a fully automated way on each commit and so on. And something which is quite unique, let's say, with Microx is what we name this multi-artifact and secondary artifact concept. In fact, we don't want to touch with the primary artifact, which is what usually product owners, business owners are working on. And we have multiple ways to add example, create your own data set in order to generate dynamic mock, which are very rich regarding the type of example that you're going to provide through your API and through your mock system. We can import and reuse Postman collection for this purpose, but also we have our own API example format in order to have a clear demarcation point between the spec and the examples, and you can add as many as you would like. You can sniff real traffic on your proxy or gateway, export it using the format which is HTTP archive, import it in Microx, and again, we're going to reuse this example as, let's say, a data set for your mock and testing facility. And last but not least, it's not only a question of fashion. We have an AI copilot, which is, let's say, very specific to the point of helping developers. They can import the spec and they ask the copilot to generate and suggest, let's say, example for them based on a specification. And the developers say, yes, I want this one, and it creates its own data set in a very, very easy way. The goal, again, is to have a better developer experience and to make developers more efficient regarding what they need and expect. And the other point, which is very unique within Microx, is the fact that we are able, let's say, to do this exactly the same way of doing mocking and testing on a huge amount of diversity of API and protocols. We support, sub-services for legacy system, and we have quite a lot of big enterprises and gov entity who are using SOP a lot. Of course, Open API and HTTP and web APIs, but also gRPC, GraphQL, and everything related to event-driven system and asynchronous API. We already support all the binding that you can see, like Kafka, MQTT, WebSocket, RabbitMQ, and also cloud provider solution like Google PubSub and AWS SNS and SQS. We can also, through async API, do some very mocking and testing stuff on Cloud Event, which is a CNCF product. And again, reuse the existing Postman collection. But yeah, go ahead, Amin.
Yeah, just a question regarding, I saw that it's pretty interesting because I didn't know that you can mock also AWS services. Do you know if there is a support of the event bus service?
Today, it's let's say the focus is on SQS and SNS, not the other messaging system. It's all coming, by the way, from requests from the community. So we have requests, for example, for some of the message queuing from Azure and stuff like that. Based on adopters' needs, we'll add it on the fly with their contribution, because most of that is coming also from a contribution from our adopters.
Okay.
And of course, you can deploy, and that's a big advantage, Microx everywhere. You can run the laptop on your laptop on top of Kubernetes in a very centralized and highly scalable way. And we are very focused on the ecosystem. I mean, we are already tightly integrated with a lot of other products, a lot of CNCF projects. We use Keycloak, for example, within Microx for authentication on RBAC. We use a lot of stuff regarding, we have a backstage plugin, for example. We can integrate with Tecton for CI integration. And as I said, we run on Podman, Docker, and everything which is running on top of Kubernetes, and doesn't matter the distro and the flavors. We are providing mshort and a very GitOps-oriented operator in order to have a smooth, let's say, deployment and maintenance of Microx on your infrastructure. And now that was just, let's say, the high-level introduction regarding what Microx is, what we tackle, and the way we do it. If you have any question on that, just ask it now, because now I'm going to move more on, let's say, Microx numbers, figures, what we have done since we have been accepted as a sandbox project in June 2023. So any question on what I said previously, or is it crystal clear?
Yeah, it's pretty clear because I had some colleagues from more as a full stack developers, which were basically using Microx for mocking their API contract, because they are working in multi-team environment with a bunch of microservices. So I knew that they were using Microx for mocking these APIs and for testing the API contract. But yeah, I didn't know that it support more than REST or SOAP API, that it's extended that. So I'm pretty interested now to give it a try.
Which is quite unique. And just based on what you said, maybe it's an adapter we never heard about. So feel free to send me some information privately if you would like regarding them, because as you can imagine, we like that our adapters showcase in a public adapter list that we have, and that I'll show you right after.
Okay.
So just regarding Microx and a few numbers. First of all, so all these metrics, let's say, that's part of the follow-up and the key result that we apply to ourselves as maintainer for the project. And it's only, let's say, related to 2024, last year, just in order to make it relevant, let's say. So just regarding number of we are taking about pull request, not pull, let's say Docker pull on any registry that we support. We are available in multiple registries with multiple images. And last year we have reached more than 600,000 download in a year, and we saw a constant growth, let's say, regarding the number of pull and the number of usages of Microx in many different entities and geography. We have started when we joined the CNCF LinkedIn page We didn't have had one at the beginning. Just for the record, by the way, Microx it's a really rock solid solution because it's something we are working on for 9 years already. We joined, the CNCF. We have donated the project to the CNCF in 2023, but the project was very rock solid. I mean, for quite a while. But regarding number of followers and so on, we have more than 2,600 followers on LinkedIn now. A lot of connection and interaction with the community, and we take care about, let's say, not going to say tracking, but having some information on who is following us, who is interacting with us, and who can join the community in order to help, let's say, the effort and follow the open source principles that we love. Same for the GitHub stars. I mean, we have an organic growth. Clearly, it's not a giant boost, but we have more than 1,500 stars on the main repo today. I'll show you right after, because we have tried to do some analysis on why, let's say, we have not more stars than that, clearly, and to be honest, because it could be good for us. But we clearly realize that most of our adopters are, let's say, big enterprises, and some of these enterprises, let's say, don't use to work with open source community upstream, or some of them are just not allowed to, let's say, to use GitHub publicly or Discord or stuff like that. Which means we certainly have much more interest in usages than what these figures showcase, but that's the way it is. Regarding number of public adopters, we have more than 22 or 23 today public adopters, which mean companies or organizations just have expressed publicly creating a PR for this purpose, but they are using Microx with a point of contact and also some information on the use case they are using. And we heard, that's why I asked you, I mean, if you have any information on the company that you know. We have a huge we know some of them. At least we know that we have at least 29 private adopters. When I mean by private, it's just people don't showcase publicly, but we know that they are using Microx, and some of them are contributing, which is great. So again, and here's a point for us, and that's important, as you can imagine, in order to level up. Any adopters of Microx, please join the public list if you can. That's something, that's a small contribution, let's say, to the project, but it's important for us. Here at the end, you can find a recap that I wrote just at the end of the year, just to showcase and recap, let's say, some of these metrics and what we have done in 2024. Next point now. Oops, next slide, sorry. Here we are. Yeah, I was dealing about the diversity of adopters. It's really cross industries. Just some of them, at least the one who are public. And as you can see, we have quite a lot of FSI and financial entities, some quite big banks who are using Microx, some also industries, manufacturers, healthcare, and a lot of services company. I mean, company who are providing sometime services or who have introduced, let's say, Microx within their development practices in order to help their own customers. We also have adopters who are using Microx as a backend service for their own product. So we are also pretty proud to have, let's say, some adopters who are CNCF members. You have Michelin, for example, which is a silver member, and Deloitte. I think you all know them, which have been let's say, cool enough to share the fact that they are using Microx on some big projects. Unfortunately, we don't have a blog post on that at the moment, but already proud and happy to have them on a list. We clearly expand globally, and we have noticed, let's say, quite a big boost and update on this point since we joined the CNCF. We have had a giant boost in LATAM and Geo, where, let's say, we didn't know that we have had adopters of people who were using Microx in those areas. The fact that we joined the CNCF are clearly help us to, let's say, to have much more adopters and contributors all over the world, but also, let's say, much more feedback, from the field and information on who is using us and where. We have quite a lot of testimonials. It's something that we are really taking care about. After joining the public adopter list, what we expect and ask, let's say, our adopters, if they can showcase and create a blog post with us and explain in more details, let's say, what they are doing with Microx and what are the gains. I mean, for why they have selected Microx. So here you have just a few quotes from some of the blog posts. Company like Lombard, which is a private bank in Switzerland, who is using Microx in very and fully GitOps approach on top of Kubernetes in order to provide, sandbox service, which means they are fully automated the way they are providing sandboxes for internal and external usages. And the amazing point with this organization is for them, it was just mandatory to have a tool like Microx because they have a huge amount of endpoint to manage. And we are dealing about a bank, I mean, APIs which are monetized and critical from a business point of view. But they have less, at least roughly 200 developers only to develop, innovate, and maintain all these APIs and services. So for them, automation was just mandatory. And that's what we have been able to give by using Microx. Another use case from GB Hunt, a transport company in the US, which is using Microx for many years now, and they have started to use Microx for the mocking, feature, especially on the big product, which was very important for them. Has been done in collaboration with UPS and Uber. And it was a lot, let's say, of co-development, partnership with others. So it was not easy, let's say, to move forward all together. And by mocking and all the dependencies, parallelizing all the development, and providing data set of examples for each of these entities and partners, at the end of the project, the developer said that they win 7 months on the development lifecycle just by using Microx. So that's, the type of testimonial that we have. If you check on LinkedIn, we released yesterday the fact that Amadeus, the travel company, have done a very, very nice talk during API Days Paris, where they explain how they have been able to do a fully automated zero trust enforcement by using authentication from end to end and OpenID Connect, and they are mocking OpenID Connect by using Microx, and it was for them a very, let's say, a smart way to speed up their move to cloud, process and ability to make it at scale, but dealing about hundreds and hundreds of applications. So that's just a few of them. Check our blog post, check our website. We have an event with a lot of talks. You can see live demo, and also what we really like, when adopters are dealing about that, it's always better than listening to the maintenance from my point of view. So, and the other point, which is, I think it's also very important in order to, let's say, to be sustainable within the CNCF, and it's also something we are taking care, of course, to level up, is the diversity of contributors and the fact that it has grown a lot for the latest year. Just for based on last year metrics, for example, and everything is available on DevStat. We have had more than 60 different contributors from 25 different organizations, and it's keep growing. And the good point, and what we are really proud about, is we have quite a lot of adopters who are becoming contributors. We have adopters who are doing their key contribution to the project based on their need. And the good point is that they contribute upstream and they share it with the community, which is really why we are doing all this work, let's say. And now maybe more point and question for the tag and maybe you is how you can help us during this process. We have not submitted, the incubation issue at the moment. We'll do that pretty soon. I think it's something that we are working on, but we are working upfront in order to, let's say, to try to tick all the boxes that we can, do all the tasks that we can upfront, in order clearly, because we know what it is, to, let's say, minimize the time and effort for the tag, the TOC members, and for us. I mean, if we can, again, shorten the feedback loop and make it more efficient for everybody, that's what we are working on, to be honest, for months. So if you can help us, or if the tag who can provide, let's say, some guidance or review or any stuff before we submit it, just again, in order to make it more efficient and easier for everybody, more than happy to collaborate on that. We have questions, for example, that we asked within to the community. The first point is we have an adopter list here. I can show it to you, by the way. So that's so let's go back to here. Here we have our public adopter list. Within, so that's where you can see all these companies, point of contact, and the use case. At the beginning, we also have some link on a blog post where we explain why it's important for us, the community, the CNCF, and so on. But what we realize, and that's what I put within this issue, is we don't have, let's say, the category, the CNCF category for each of these adopters. I don't know if I know that it's mandatory for moving to incubate, and that's something we're going to work with the TOC sponsor. But I don't know if it makes sense, let's say, to update or adopt list with this information at the moment and make it, publicly available, or if you think that it's not relevant because it's only, let's say, for CNCF internal purpose. So that's the type of question that we have. I don't know, Liane, if you have any comment on that or experiences.
On that, I would say it probably is useful for your users as well to understand other customers that you already have, what kind of use cases they have, and just to also, sorry, I'm missing the word, compare with themselves. So I think there is value in this outside of just the CNCF. So I understand you're like trying to you're thinking about how to make things smoother for the incubation acceptance, but also I think for your users themselves, there's value for that as well.
Absolutely.
Within the TOC, I am not sure what they actually need to do with it or will do with it, but I think that's, yeah. So regarding your question, like if you think there's value in that, enough value for your end users, I would consider doing that. Did you have more questions on the list? I think the general technical review, I was not aware whether we still do that because you've moved so far into your process. I would have expected that the general technical review had already happened.
No, and that's a
okay.
question because so far, and especially in order to move to incubate, if you check the issue template, it's an optional. I mean, this presentation should replace or could replace the technical review.
I see. Okay.
So I clearly fully understand, the purpose and why it makes sense to do a domain technical review or general technical review. And in any case, that's something we're going to need to do, to move forward, to the next stage. Few years.
Yeah.
But from the template itself, it doesn't seem to be mandatory. So clearly, on this one, I don't know exactly what to do, and I don't know if you have any recommendation on that as well.
Yeah, so I also realized now you're doing this for the incubation application. For some reason, I thought you were doing graduation application because your product seems so mature already. Yeah, I remember that we
that.
we do the technical review. There is a template for that. And what we usually do is now you've presented, we have this recorded, and we then usually ask a group of tag members to join us for a technical review. Then there's a template, and we just fill in basically with questions, and we just fill in yes, these points are met. I cannot produce it as like right this moment, but yeah, when we ask for help, we share that. And the idea is usually to use this presentation as a basis for the review. So normally, if this group is bigger and we just have more of a discussion, then sometimes that can also replace the technical review. But in this case, I think we're basically only 2 people, or Marcus joined, so 3 people. I'm not sure if that makes sense. So I would say, for the purposes of the incubation application, to be on the safe side, it's probably good to also do the general technical review or the domain technical. I'm honestly not sure what exactly the difference is. I would have to refer to the review template. But yeah, so my recommendation would probably be to just do this review as well. Pretty sure that Robert, or if he asked you to present here, he probably already started the process internally, but I will check with him just to see also what his thinking was, because if he invited you, he probably already has an idea of like how to move your project along.
Yeah, in fact, if you check, you know, the other product to move to incubate, some of them have not done, let's say, the domain technical review or the general technical review. They just have presented to their tag, which is what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
And if you check the issue template, it's one or the other, or both if you
Yeah.
want, of course. So based on the current situation, you know, with all the reboot and so on, don't know if the tag will have some boundaries to work on that, or if we can just, let's say, keep going and move forward on the submission issue. Understand the purpose of this technical reviews. Just from my point of view, it was not mandatory.
It is
Don't know
not
if it,
mandatory.
yeah.
So as far as I understand it, as you say, it's either this or that. I was just saying that if you want to be extra sure that there's not going to be, you know, the talk not coming back like to us and ask like, okay, we saw the so usually we will just give a recommendation, but sometimes they come back to us like they have specific questions. In my just personal opinion, I think your product is pretty mature. I wouldn't expect them to come back with like more detailed questions. But as you were asking, like you wanted to make it as smooth as possible, I said like, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be absolutely sure, do both, and then then it's definitely set. But as I said, I want to talk to Robert as well to ask if he had any specific thoughts, how to move your project along. But you're right that it's not mandatory to also do the review next to this presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask on Slack. In any
Mhm.
case, they're gonna open a thread on this specific point, just to first of all to understand, like you, I mean, which one from those technical reviews we ideally we need to do. Is it the domain or the general?
Mm.
And then if it's not mandatory, let's see if we can move forward without it. Doesn't mean that we're not going to work on it and prepare the future. But I'll ask to you know to within a tag and let's see, let's say if you have any guidance and information on that, because I know that in the past, and I've checked quite a lot of let's say other projects, and some of them have done it, but a lot of them have just presented to their tag. And the more important issue was let's say the submission issue, and of course when it's accepted and validated, the due diligence.
Yeah, I understand. You ideally wanted to move along before KubeCon, so I understand the urgency of it as well. Yeah, let me check with Robert today. If we can just if this is, I mean, again, I think it's enough, but let me just check with him. The due diligence review, that is the talk will come back to us for that anyway, so we will help you with that, or we will help the talk with that. So that is definitely something that we will do. Yeah.
And just based on what I have presented and from your past experiences, do you think that there is, let's say, anything, any important point that is missing in order to move forward on the submission issue, or you seem to be good from your point of view? Of course, you just discover it, so but just in case there's
Yes, I mean, actually, I
point
know
I
about the
forgot.
project, so it's not like I didn't just discover it. I do know about the project. I didn't use it myself yet, but I know about it. I think so. Just from the presentation point of view, I think that it was, so as I said, your product seems pretty mature. It's nice to see that you have a pretty diverse user base already. Also, like corporate user, like enterprise level users. That's always something that the CNCF likes, or the talk likes to see. Also, what's quite important is also the diversity of your contributors, which I think looks fine. The one thing that in the presentation itself, it wasn't super deep into like the technical background of how exactly things work. So that is why I'm thinking like maybe the talk will want us to do a technical review specifically, because it was just not very deep in the presentation, which, to be honest, like I don't mind that, because I think like that kind of presentation, it can be too overloaded with technical details sometimes. But that is the only thing where I am feeling like maybe the talk will ask us to do a technical review, because the presentation itself didn't go very deeply into technical details. However, I know that you have good documentation, so it might also not be an issue. So I just don't know what the talk will say.
All right.
But from my point of view, it's great. Yeah, I just, I'm struggling to say, yeah, it's perfect. Don't worry, because I have not, I don't
No,
know what Robert was thinking, and I don't know what the talk is thinking.
I'm not going to blame you in any case. Don't worry for that.
Okay, great.
Just a conversation between us. But if I've missed any very important point, you just let me know. Doesn't seem to.
Yeah,
So let's
no.
move forward on the process. Ask the others and any guidance, anything that can, let's say, make the process smoother for everybody. That's let's say what we're gonna try to do all together.
Yeah.
It's same
Yeah,
from
that sounds great.
I find the product great, especially to be tested. What I didn't know about is the numbers of integration it supports, and that could lead to huge adoption in the coming years and months. So it's great to see that we can test pretty much any interface from the popular tools and open source tools we are using today. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something I forget to mention as well is we joined, the LFX mentorship program. It's the first time for us, and we have submitted 7 projects, and we've been surprised, but the 7 projects are accepted, and we have a huge amount of money for each of them, which mean contribution gonna have a giant boost through the program, and one of them is to increase, let's say, the number of sandbox that we are providing and ready to use, because we have created, what we name a Microx Hub, and that's where we provide, ready to use sandboxes, including test suites that people can just clicking, install it, and start playing with it. And as you can see, for example, this OpenID Connect APIs, that's a contribution from Amadeus. That's what we are doing in the talk we shared on social yesterday. And that's a type of contribution that clearly can help the others, especially this OpenID Connect, and the way they're able to simulate that could be, let's say, a very, very efficient for all of the enterprises who would like to, move to zero trust and cloud native in a much more efficient way.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the template for the project reviews, but they're buried very deep in some drive right now. So let me just see if I can see it. No, I don't know where
You
it
mean
is.
the issue template for incubate?
It's not an issue template.
This one?
It's a Google Doc template. I don't think it's this one. It's one for project review, but that's fine. Can you scroll down a little bit? So sometimes they have some deeper explanation of what they're looking for. Ah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think if you go through this checklist, right, you'll have probably a fairly good idea whether your project is mature enough for incubation.
Yeah, absolutely. When I said,
yeah,
yeah, sorry to interrupt, but
no, that's
when I
fine.
said that we are working for months on that, is of course we've tried to check all of that. Just to give you an
Yeah.
idea, for example, if you check
Mhm.
Cielo Monitor for Microx, that's our current ranking, and we worked on that for the latest 6 months, and most of these practices clearly are some of the requirements for the within the template itself. And we let's say we took the hard path because we have decided to add all the organization project, which means 19 repos within under the scope, let's say, of Cielo Monitor. So you're right. I mean, within there's this template, there's a lot of stuff that we need to check, and I'm not saying that it's all done, but a big part of it is already covered, let's say. I think the most, as we said, the technical review is certainly the point where we have, let's say, the a lack of understanding, let's say, based on requirements and what need to be done. But as we said, Leanne, that's something we can address through Slack.
Yes. There is also in the talk repo, I'm posting it here in the channel. There's also a template for domain technical review. So you can see what kind of questions are asked there. So this is what they looking for. So community and growth, and then they want to know like yeah, you can look at it yourself, but this can give you an idea of like what we were looking for. And then also there's the general technical review. So
It's a link I
independent from
put here, in fact.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you did put the links there. Yeah, so independent of whether we are doing the review or not, if you feel like, yeah, you have reasonably well managed to hit the points, not you don't have to hit all of them, but like reasonably, then I don't think there's any kind of, yeah, I think you have done your work from your point of view, and then we're just gonna have to follow up and just move the process along. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot for the feedback in any case.
Sure, no worries.
And we'll keep going, let's say, on
Yeah, I will check
and
my progress.
work on the next steps, let's say, which is cool.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
to
you for
you.
your presentation as well. Does anyone here have any questions also regarding the project? Just we have like a couple more minutes, so we can have a little bit more of a discussion if people want to.
No, it was pretty clear. On my side, I'm eager to test it.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I agree.
Yeah, very exciting to test.
Looking forward your feedback. And for the people who are gonna just watch the recording, you know, we are on Slack, we are on Discord, so feel free to reach to the community and ask any question you may have. And if you want to test it, of course, more than welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Well, if there's nothing more, then I will release you 6 minutes early, give you back some time. Yeah, thanks all for joining the meeting, and yeah, hope to see you again in 2 weeks, and we will have another project presentation then by Cozy Stack. Right. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Bye.